Well, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Defence Minister Bill Blair are making a long-awaited announcement on Canada's defence policy today. For more on this, let's go live to CTV's Colton Prale. It's good to speak with you, Colton. Let's talk about the Prime Minister. He's been on a pre-budget spending spree with lots of money for housing, especially here in Toronto. And yesterday it was billions for AI, and today he's at CFB Trenton. So is there any money going to the military?
Jamie, that's certainly what we're expecting. You mentioned that spending spree. It totals just shy of $28 billion. But what's interesting is well over half of that is in the form of loans. As you mentioned, so much of it goes towards housing, just shy of $24 billion. But with such a focus on loans, you get a sense of how the federal government is trying to navigate the fiscal situation that they're in. They know that there is a budget crunch. They know that the deficit is very high, that the debt servicing charges, we're talking $40 billion, are also astronomically high. And so they're trying to operate in a way where they're spending money, but some of it's coming back. And defense is an interesting one because defense needs a lot of money, and that money isn't coming back. And this is an expectation that Canada is going to up its spending because they've been saying they're going to do that. They've been saying they're going to hit that 2% of GDP NATO target since 2006. And so what point do we finally get there? At what point do we ever get there? That's what we're looking to have answered today. And so the question is going to be, how much money is the government announcing when it comes to military spending? Because for the last 2 years, they've been doing a policy review on defense, but they've also been promising an increase to spending from about $19 billion in 2016 to just shy of $33 billion in 2027, a 70% jump in finances for the defense budget. And so we know that there are planned increases. The question is this going to be on top of that? And to give you a context for why Canada is so desperately in need of these increases to our budget for the military, you can just look at our NATO allies. Canada is the only country in the group that is both below the 2% target for GDP, but also below the 20% target for defense spending on equipment and research and development. The only country in the more than 30 plus that comprise NATO. And that is something that our allies are starting to talk about, some more pointedly than others. Finland and Poland, for example, have been very clear that they expect Canada to reach those baseline goals, if not surpass it. The U.S. has been a little less harsh. They've highlighted the fact that in real dollars, Canada does spend a significant amount, 7th in NATO, about 14th or so in the world on our military, but also highlighting that Canada helps out in other ways, even if we're not hitting that 2% target. Still, though, the U.S. ambassador has been pushing Canada to get closer to that military spending target, urging the country to meet that baseline. And this is having a real-world impact as well. It's not just dollar figures we're talking about. We're talking about a shortage of roughly 16,000 members in the Canadian Armed Forces. We're talking about equipment that is outdated, that isn't ready to deploy. These are having very real-world effects, and how the government addresses that today and how much they address it is going to be the big question. We're watching for that, Jamie.
That's CTV's Colton Prale. We appreciate that report. Thank you.